Hello and welcome to Youth Assembly. My name is Sylvia Ishebe. It's a new week, and what else to discuss but the PIB, now a PIA, the Petroleum Industry Act. That is our discussion for today on Youth Assembly. Okay, I have with me Engineer Faith Wadishi. She is the Executive Director, Center for Transparency Advocacy. Welcome, ma'am. I also
Hi everyone,
have
good
Comrade.
morning. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. I also have joining me Comrade Ibini Odafe. He is the National President, Vanguard for Transparency, Leadership, and Democracy. Welcome, Comrade.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so let's look at the Petroleum Industry Bill, turning it into law. On Monday, August 16, 2021, the President Muhammadu Buhari, finally signed the historic Petroleum Industry Bill into law. Now, at the signing, the president emphasized the importance of the law to the Nigerian petroleum industry. He said that the act creates a regulatory environment that would ensure efficiency and accountability across the oil and gas value chain, and also reposition the NNPC to a commercially driven national petroleum company that is accountable to the federation. Now, will this bill or will this act be the game changer in the petroleum industry? That is one question we intend to ask today on this episode of Youth Assembly as we focus on the will, how it will turn out for all Nigerians, especially young people. Will the petroleum industry act guarantee a better life for them? Okay, I will start with you, Comrade Ibini. So the Petroleum Industry Act is said to have been like 20 years old or 20 years in the making, and after several failure, it finally came into law. So, in layman's term, can you describe to us or explain to us what this act, why this act is such a big deal for Nigeria?
I thought you would start with my sister being an
She will
engineer.
get her turn.
Thank you.
And so that,
Okay,
okay,
you want me to start with her? Okay, ladies first.
exactly.
Go ahead. Go ahead,
Uh,
Engineer Faith.
sorry, could you come again with the question? I didn't hear it.
All right, so the question I asked is the Petroleum Industry Act it's been 20 years in the making, and finally it has become a reality. So, in layman's term, can you explain to us why you think this act is such a big deal in Nigeria today?
Okay, thank you so much again for having me, and thank you for everyone that is listening in. The Petroleum Industry Act 2021 finally, we can now describe it as an act because for 20 years we have followed its development. It's always been the PIB, Petroleum Industry Bill. Now, why it is so important that we have an act is that the Nigerian economy is predominantly funded by proceeds from the oil and gas sector, the petroleum sector, so to say. Over 70% of our foreign direct investment actually comes from that sector. So it becomes a very, very important sector. It means that without the petroleum sector in Nigeria, maybe Abuja wouldn't have been in existence. Most of the developments that you see would not have been in existence.
Okay.
Part of it, maybe to the extent that we see it, because most of the monies that we make is from that sector. And then if you look at our budget is also based on how much crude we sell per year. So the projections of income that we make is based on how much we get from the sector. That's why it's really important. So in very layman terms, that's the importance of the bill, why it's that important and everything. So every Nigerian should be interested in it. Every Nigerian should look at what is happening in that sector. If we want a good health sector, the petroleum industry should work. If we want a good education sector, the petroleum industry should work. If we want good infrastructure and amenities in the country, the petroleum industry should work for every Nigerian. And if we want a better future for our future generations that are coming, so that they can have a country that they can rely on, depend on, the petroleum industry should work. So that's how important it is for us. Hello, did you hear me?
Okay.
Hello, did you hear me? I can't hear. Hello? Hello?
Can you hear her?
I can hear you now. Did you hear what I said?
I
Hello?
heard you clearly.
Okay, clear. Good. This is not working. Hello, what's happening?
Madam, I heard you. I don't know what is studio.
The presenter is off.
Oh, yes, that's what I observed, but I heard you loud and clear, all you said.
Okay, thank you. Is the presenter still there? It seems
I
like it's
can't
only
see.
two of us.
I can't even see her. She's. I think they're having technical problem.
Maybe we should just log out and log in again.
Let's hold on for them.
Okay.
Sorry. Hello, comrade. Can you hear me now?
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
All right. So sorry about that. There was a break in transmission right there. Technical difficulties. But we're here. We're back. Okay. So thank you to Engineer Faith for that explanation in layman's term. But for you, comrade, how do you think or the implementation of the act will impact the lives of ordinary Nigerians? Because yes, she has explained it in her own terms, layman. Um, for better understanding. But some people, especially the teeming population of youths in the host communities, who have for years expressed their displeasure with how the petroleum industry have been managed since oil was discovered in the Niger Delta region. How do you think this will impact the lives of those people living in those areas?
Well, I want to thank my sister and a professional colleague. For your information, I am an engineer.
Okay.
and I work for one of the leading multinational oil companies.
All right.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
precisely Total. So I have been in the heart of the business. Up to offshore, I have worked offshore. She has explained it in the simplest form for everybody to understand, particularly the youth. When I mean youth, the young Nigerians. She has really put it basically to make us understand the importance of the oil and gas sector in almost all ramifications of this country. If we want our hospitals to work, she said, if we want our educational system to work, if we want Abuja to be clean, if we want Nigeria to be safe, if we want security to come back to every nook and cranny of this country, we must focus on the oil and gas industry. If we want to develop the railway sector, we want to have infrastructure all over the country, we must focus on the oil and gas industry. May I shock you to know that the issues that we are struggling with today, which led to the initiative to produce a new law governing the oil and gas sector, was actually triggered by me in the early 2000s, from 1999 through 2000, because I saw the massive corruption in the system, how the resources of this country is being looted in the oil industry, particularly the upstream. And I could not pretend or be so cowed not to speak up for my dear country. So I spoke out and I raised the alarm that if something is not done quickly to focus on the oil and gas industry, particularly the upstream, where you have the multinational oil companies playing the key role, that this country will bleed and bleed. And Ike is not thinking we might run into crisis. Of course, that didn't go down well with the thieves. My colleagues who were thieves. I'm talking about so many top French expatriate staff there. And of course, the use of certain persons within DPRO and the rest of them to throw me out. 21 years after, I'm still waiting for justice. So you're talking to a man who should be celebrated by this country, a man who knows it, the in and out. But has this bill addressed the issues that I raised? Certainly not. It has not. Sadly so. I am the person who, in the year 2015, immediately General Muhammadu Buhari was elected our president. I advised him, if you Google, you'll see it. And I told him never to appoint anybody as petroleum minister, but that he should retain that position because I had so much trust in him for his integrity and for his experience in the industry as a former petroleum minister and as a former head of state who appointed an incorruptible man as petroleum minister, that he should take charge so as to bring sanity. And I have no regret that I advised him, and I'm happy that he accepted it. But has he lived up to expectation? I doubt. Maybe because of his age, maybe because of some health challenges he's been facing. But I can tell you that this bill is unfortunate. It's been hijacked by those who still want to run the system and run it aground. And we're all going to pay for it. We can't pay our medical doctors, yes, because we have failed to stand up to save our country, to take charge of the oil and gas industry and make it work for us. Oil and gas made Dubai what it is. Oil and gas made Saudi Arabia. I can count even America. Oil and gas is playing a very critical role Russia, the same thing. China, the same thing. India, the same thing. What is wrong with our elites? These privileged elites of today, I'm sorry, and I will say without due respect to any of them, unpatriotic tendency has taken the better of them. All what they can grab individually for themselves is what concerns them in everything they do. Hello? 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 What is going on? Okay.
Hello, comrade. Comrade Ibini,
Yes,
Engineer Faith, you're still here. Can you hear me now?
I can
So
hear
sorry
you.
about the difficulties we're having. Yes, okay, okay, okay. So yes, your points were noted, comrade. You've spoken about the fact that your battles and how you try to correct the ills in the industry, but till now justice has not yet been served. But we hear you, comrade. Your points are noted. But some Nigerians are not impressed with the act still. But I have to throw this question at the engineer at this point. Their position is that Nigeria should be moving towards cleaner sources of energy in preparation for the death
Yes.
of oil. So how would you react to this? We're supposed to be moving to cleaner sources of energy, but we're still talking about oil. Yes.
Um. Hello. Yes. Thank you so much. Unfortunately, we actually thought that the act. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello. Yes. So we actually thought
Yes,
that
we
the
can hear
act will
you.
address. Yes, we actually thought that the act will address issues around energy transition. That's moving to cleaner energy. But unfortunately, the act did not address that. Even though the federal government had come out to say, number one, they were going to end gas flares. They specifically put the date to end gas flares in 2025, having shifted it for a very long time. It didn't address that. A lot of the oil and gas companies that we have in the country and around the world are actually looking at moving towards energy transition. Instead, what the PIA did was to create opportunities for new exploration, what you call the frontier bases, to go and explore for new oil in areas
Mm.
where we have not had new oil. So it's one of the disappointments that we saw in the act. During the time it was being debated at the National Assembly, we drew the attention of the National Assembly to be able to be responsive to what is happening at the global level. Nigeria as a country is actually more of a gas country than even a crude oil country. And if the act had made provisions on how to harness that, though there's mention of it in the act, but the act still says when you flare, penalties will be paid and all of that, but no clear-cut direction on where we should be going on issues around the energy transition. And because we are talking to young people on this program, energy transition is one area that young people can actually key in. There are a lot of renewable energy projects like solar energy, the utilization of gas, and every other thing that the people are thinking about. So if the act had articulated that well, we will see one way that the young people can key into that program and begin to have some economic
So let's see.
sustenance.
Okay. Okay, madam. Let's see how they can key in. Comrade seems to have a different opinion. Comrade, come in at this point. What do you think?
See, this matter that we are discussing is not for the youth, as it were. We're talking about serious matter, very, very serious. Leave the youth out of it. This is the heart, the survival of our country. Relax. It's not for youth to be dragged into it. This is not one of those discourse at
Yes,
all.
they're also Nigerians, and this program tends to address mostly the youths. So let's look at it from that angle.
What I'm telling you with due respect is that the issue that we are discussing now is far, far more serious than bringing in the youth. Okay,
Okay,
it's just like my child.
What is your stance on what she said? You know, the death of oil, the death of oil. There's no provision for it in the act.
I don't know her background in engineering. I've just told you that I'm an insider. I'm an oil worker, so I don't know her own background. But you know, when we keep talking about cleaner, I don't know what that means. When we talk about solar, I really don't know what that means. Okay, as it concerns this discourse, let me tell you.
Okay.
For so long, we have been manipulated by the outside world to look away from our oil and gas, and have insisted that that would be the worst mistake we ever make in this country. When they sponsor people to say, oh, let us go for solar, what is solar? Do you have a solar at home? If you have, do you know how much it costs you to change the battery? Is it any cheaper? Not at all. Not at all. Let's not be fooled. You're talking about looking away from oil. Are you aware that even the American president, the immediate past president and the current one, they're all celebrating US breakthrough in shale production? What is shale? Shale is even more difficult than the oil we have here to find, to explore. Okay? But they celebrated it because they know the importance of fossil fuel. So nobody deceive anybody, for crying out loud. I'm passionate about this thing. Okay? We must focus on frontier basin. We must focus on making sure that every oil produced in this country is properly accounted for. I have told you, and I hope Nigerians are listening to me again. I said it 21 years ago that we don't know the quantity of crude oil we produce. That what they read every now and then to tell you is 2.5 million barrels, 1.2 million barrels, all these barrels they quote, they're all fake. Fake. Massive fraud, massive on the declaration of the quantity of crude oil we produce. It's ongoing. It's not been resolved. What did tell me to look away from oil? Why should I look away from oil? What oil is making United Arab Emirates, Saudi, Qatar, even the almighty America strong. You have our troops fighting in the battlefield. What do they use? Do they use your solar system? Do they use solar energy to power all those equipment? Hello. The First and Second World War, oil played a very, very critical role, in case you don't know. Let nobody tell me that we should look away from oil. To do what? War cleaner oil. War cleaner oil. Only last month or so, I read in the news that from behind, Russians have been contracted to come and install a nuclear power plant in Nigeria. 2, something is wrong with us. Something is obviously wrong with us. Our leaders of today should put on their thinking cap and become patriotic and stop insulting our collective intelligence. We are not fools. If they don't know, they should tell people who know to come and to run the system.
All right. Let's move on to Engineer Faith. Engineer Faith.
Hello. Hello, please, at this, hello, please, at this time, I need to clarify.
All right. I think she's having or hearing me. But let's continue with you. Thank a lot. But another contentious issue is that will be allocated community. Those in the Niger Delta have come out to say that 10% and allocate percent of to oil exploitation exploration activities. Do you think the host
You are breaking. Hello.
So do you think the host community the 3%
Well, you're talking about 3% to host community. Am I correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, I am from an oil producing community in Delta State.
Okay.
And I'm speaking to you from Warri. I'm not one of those who want to be dragging to whether it's 3%, 10%, 20%. That's not the issue. That's not the issue. I've grown beyond the level of being dragged into sentiments. The issue is deeper than that. Even if they give my host community 100%, as the system is running today, I will still not be happy. There's massive fraud. Can't you understand what is going on? There's massive fraud.
Okay. So the fraud that you're talking about, what do you mean at this point?
Sorry?
The massive fraud, how can it be tackled? It doesn't continue with the provision of own opinion.
The reason that this country, you are hearing looting, fraud, is because the source is coming from the oil. Unfortunately, like I said, this act has failed to address the same issue. We must dismantle the entire structure. It is simple. We don't need a major act like this. Those who steal from the oil industry, give them maximum punishment. You can't imagine what is going on in this country in the oil sector, particularly the upstream. You all are carried away by what do you call it, fuel subsidy. That is more money as we say it on the street, compared to what is going on. Do you know what is? Have you been to offshore? Have you seen crude oil? Do you know what is going on offshore? Do you know why the oil companies, the multinational companies are all running offshore now? Who is taking note of what they are doing there? They just do what they like and they don't took over to us and then we are celebrating killing ourselves. 3%, 10%, what's my business? That's not my concern, please. I speak as an authority, as a petroleum engineer from the multinational oil company, one who has given his life and career. 21 years, I can't find justice, but I thank God that they are taking steps. But the step of only has been hijacked. It's not a 3%, 10%, or 30% frontier, what they are going to share among themselves. Is that how to run a system?
All right.
Buhari did not run
Yes.
this country
Yes.
before. This is not the way she run the country.
Can you hear me
Can
now?
you hear me now?
I think you're
Thank you.
well.
Well,
Engineer Faith.
Engineer Faith.
Engineer Faith.
Engineer Faith. Yes, I'm here. Yes, I'm here. It's so bad.
Okay.
Okay.
So if you can hear
So
me,
if you
also
can
the
hear me,
issue
also the issue
prices of
prices of
increasing
increasing
has been
has been
this
this
um
um,
economic
economic
ground. Do you think
ground.
it's
Do you think it's
the government
the
to implement
government to implement
regulation
regulation
time?
time?
This question.
This question. I don't know if you can
I
hear
don't know if you
me.
can hear me.
Unfortunately, it's
Unfortunately, it's
breaking a lot. But there's
breaking a
something I
lot. But
wanted
there's something I
to
wanted
address
to
earlier.
address earlier.
If you allow me to do that.
You allow me to do that.
Hello?
Hello?
She can hear you. Just go ahead. Madam, go ahead.
You can take the question. Go ahead,
Go
comrade.
ahead, comrade.
No, she was trying to get in touch with you. She said
But
she
we
has a
can hear her.
clarification
Go
too.
They have
Okay, okay.
what you think and
uh,
how
and how
uh,
uh,
Sorry? The line is breaking. I can't hear you. Hello?
comrade.
comrade.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
So I asked you
So
the
I
question
asked you the question
about her.
about
Uh,
her.
what do you,
What do you
this
know?
talk,
This talk,
the price of
the price
fuel
of fuel
in this current
this current
in
in
regulation
regulation
product is
product is
wise at this
wise
time.
at this time.
Uh, you mean the price of petroleum product?
300. There are
300. There are
speculations
speculations
this will happen.
happen.
This is the mischief I'm talking about. This is the mischief. What has that got to do with the price? Taking it to 350. That is mischievous. Why? If we have a properly managed oil and gas industry in Nigeria, my sister, we have no business buying petrol for more than 15 naira per liter. Are you with me? We have no business. We have no business at all. I challenge any of them to come and face me. I say I challenge any of them. What kind of thing is this?
What are your
What are your
arguments?
arguments?
In the midst of plenty,
Okay.
Okay.
in the midst of plenty, all this talk about smuggling across the border, rubbish. Sorry to use that harsh word. You know, who are you deceiving? This has been the whole story, even right from the days of Abacha. Oh, we have to increase because they are smuggling it across the border. We are supposed to even be producing and flooding neighboring countries with petrol at 40 naira per liter. But because some persons have refused to allow this country to progress, for their own myopic and selfish interests, they want to grab so that they can send their family abroad to be schooling abroad, living their life in abroad, and they are here with just shirt and trousers and some few clothes and destroy this country. They will not succeed. If you don't know what to do, please ask them to come. I'm an engineer. I'm not just an engineer. I studied mechanical engineering, petroleum, and electrical electronics, and I've worked in a multinational oil company. I get getting very, very upset with this kind of a thing they do to us in this country. The hell do they mean?
About this. Go ahead. Okay, looks like she. It's all about you. It's all about you. I don't know what's for you, comrade. Can you?
Hello? You asking me a question?
So what do you think of? What do you think we should do differently? This time, the objectives of the PIA.
I will call on President Muhammadu Buhari, a man I still respect.
Okay.
A man I still respect because he knows the industry in out. When he was minister, I don't have any record to show that he stole or mismanaged his position. But many after him as minister, we have seen what they did to this country. He should please send that bill, send it back to the National Assembly, and he should not be in a hurry this time. It doesn't matter that he has signed it, he's been misled to sign it. They should send it back to the National Assembly and then give Nigerians enough time. When I mean Nigeria, I'm talking about patriotic Nigerians who know. I don't want to mention any name, but when you now bring people who did not study petroleum or don't even have experience in the oil and gas sector, coming to put up this kind of critical bill and passing it, and they are now the ones to implement the act. Sometimes I just ask myself, what is wrong with this? Why are they doing this to this country? It has now become politics, North versus South, host community versus others, APC versus PDP. Is that how to run a country? Mr. President must save this country. He has the know-how as a former petroleum minister, as a former head of state, and now he's commander-in-chief of the armed forces, and I advise him to be minister of petroleum, and he is actually the minister of petroleum, not minister for state. There's nothing like minister of state in the Nigerian constitution. Nothing like that. So he cannot push it to me receiver. He should take responsibility. I expected him to be the chairman of that committee. I expected him to be in charge. That's why I advised him to be petroleum minister. It wasn't by mistake I advised him in 2015. It wasn't by mistake that he accepted my advice. He must not run away from it. This is the time to show leadership, and he must show it now, not to Misiba. Misiba is not the petroleum engineer. He does not know the petroleum industry. He does not know. Even those they have appointed for the Ministry of Finance and other ministries, they don't even know the oil industry. How many of them have been optioned? How many? I'm telling you that if you go there, you wait for this country. What is the matter?
Thank you so much. The national president, leadership and democracy. Passionate about this topic. Will the petroleum industry act for young Nigerians? Comment and tell us what you think. New law, it will impact you. Thank you so much for joining us. If you follow us on YouTube, and we'll be back again for another interview. Thank you. My name is Sylvia Ishipi. We also have Engineer Faith, the Executive Director. Share her thoughts also. Appreciate you all. Appreciate you
Okay,
all.
thank you,
Okay,
comrade.
thank you, comrade. I hope you have a good
I hope
day,
you have a
and
good day, and
we'll have you soon
have you
on the show.
soon on the show.
Bye bye, sir.
Bye bye, sir.